Hey everyone, happy Tip Tuesday. The tip to tackle for today is the value of volunteering experience. Now, I personally think that volunteering experience is super important. I think it's the backbone actually for a lot of different activities to be able to function. And what's amazing about it is that the number of hours that you put towards volunteering for whatever role is really you putting in the hours to develop a certain skill. Now, these skills can be a bunch of different things. You could be volunteering for research skills. You can be volunteering for how to organize an event or fundraiser. You can be volunteering for how to communicate with people in your community. So many things you can do. But what really is volunteering experience? Volunteering experience is you giving your time to be able to contribute to a cause that you believe in. I really want you to remember that. I want you to remember that when you're taking on a volunteering opportunity, that it's really because you believe in that cause. And later on in time, when you're asked about why you volunteered for that role, volunteered with that group, your answer would be whatever it is that you identified with that group, with that cause. So it could be a great way to showcase things you care about as well. So in addition to actually developing a skill while you're participating as a volunteer, you have to also consider that being able to volunteer with a given organization or for a given event, you are doing a lot of networking at that time too. And again, you're showcasing good qualities of yourself to people in your community. And that means potentially having more opportunities in the future. If you like doing something, if you're good at doing something, do it. Because people are going to remember you for that skill. That is your key to getting further opportunities. That is your key to being that person who knows how to do whatever it is that is. Now, in reality, it is very hard to get access to certain opportunities without having prior volunteer opportunities before or work experiences. And I can understand and appreciate that some work opportunities don't really look at volunteer experience as proper work experience. But if you've been performing at a certain leadership capacity for a certain number of years for a given skill, at some point it is regarded as valued work experience. Be sure to annotate your accomplishments during your volunteer activities. For example, if you've been volunteering as a researcher for 2-3 years and you have a publication, write that down. If you've been assisting with fundraising events and organizing them in a leadership capacity, and you made X amount of dollars of donations because of that event, write that down. Mark your accomplishments. So with that, if you have something that you're really good at and that you really enjoy, go for it, seize the opportunities. If you know that you want to develop a certain kind of skill for yourself, go for it, participate. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. Here are some other tips from a fellow colleague, Dr. Gautam.
I think it's very natural for medical students and other students in healthcare to feel a lot of confusion and sometimes even anxiety when it comes to volunteering and dedicating time and deciding what programs they should dedicate time to in terms of volunteering. And that's okay. And I think the main way to approach this is sort of figure out what your personal goals are. So, for example, there will be programs and there will be events that are very medical oriented and they may be very in line with your career goals. So, for example, if I want to do obs-gyn and there is an event that there will be a lot of OBGYNs attending and it's for a public health issue in relation to my field of interest, I would consider putting that on my top priority list as compared to, for example, something that is more in touch with primary healthcare or GP or something like that. So that's one way to think about it. Another way to think about it is your professional development as a whole and your development as a person and as a student in general, because not every event or not every opportunity that you're presented with has something directly to do with medicine. So, for example, there might be a big event where your university is being represented. So, for example, when my institution changed from a college status to a university status, when RCSI upgraded and things like that. We had an event and we had a launch day or whatever where the Irish education minister was present, the Irish ambassador was present, and there were a lot of important people, and it was a very good opportunity for me to be able to network, first of all, as well as expose myself to something that was a little bit outside my comfort zone. And when I was presented with this opportunity to host this event and be a key member in terms of organizing as well as making sure the event ran smoothly, I was in the middle of my obs-gyn rotation, which again, as I mentioned, is something that was really, really important to me and really important for me to do well on. But again, this was a opportunity that I didn't think I would want to pass up because I saw it as important in terms of my professional development. And it was just something that I knew that I would remember even after graduating. And it's something that, you know, you want to be able to talk about because not many other people would have done something like this. So I do think that the method I employ in terms of dedicating my time is to first think about, is this something that interests me? Secondly, prioritize it based on whether it adds value to my career goals, my personal goals, and just in general, is this something that I would really like to remember after I graduate? Is this something that could help set me apart? And it becomes much easier to dedicate your time to something when it fits into your life in that sense where it lines up with your personal goals and beliefs and what you stand for and what you're working towards. And then it doesn't seem too much of activity that's sort of cutting out of your time, but rather adding and enriching your experience throughout medical school. My name's Divya Gautam, and thank you so much for having me.